back to my channel that documents me making art. So today's video, my assignment for that day was to just look at some references and draw from them, work on practicing realism because that's something we would be working on in one of our future projects. So yeah, all I had to do was basically find references online and then just try to make it look as realistic and close to reference as possible. So right off the bat, one bad habit that you'll see me making in this first sketch that I'm doing here is that I drew one eye but not the other one, and basically not drawing the eyes continuously with each other can make one eye off center or just look a little bit wonky because you're not drawing them right one after the other, because then if you draw them right next to each other you'll better see how they should line up and everything, because if you just come back to one eye later on you can sometimes have trouble with it, and I think I did have a little bit of trouble with the eye later on. But anyways, in this part of the video it looks like I'm working on the jawline and fixing that up, and also a little bit on the hair. So yeah. Really important part of drawing realism is getting the facial proportions right. So getting the face of someone's shape right, and how their features work together. So here I am trying to get down that eye shape, and it's kind of struggling with that, but I think I did get them mostly in line. I don't think the other one was too off center, but it just can be hard sometimes to come back to that other eye after you've started working on a different part of the piece. I think maybe I erased this, and yeah, I just had to do a lot of reworking with that, which is fine, but you really do want to draw the eyes simultaneously, basically. Not simultaneously, but definitely in very close proximity to one another. See, there I am, erasing the eye and redoing it. I honestly do pretty much enjoy drawing realism, even though I don't really draw it that much in my free time. I kind of like drawing more semi-realistic, kind of more cartoony stuff, but that's because I want to be an animator for kids shows when I am older, so that would explain why I don't really do realism as often. But it is obviously very important to practice your fundamentals, just like it is with everything, and I think realism can be fun sometimes. I really love adding in hair and shading hair. It's definitely one of my favorite parts of drawing people. I don't know, I really like all the different types of hair you can draw, the hair textures. I think it's really fun. And one thing about drawing realism is that it teaches you really how to observe people and observe their facial features, which can be a bad thing sometimes, because if you're out and about and you see someone that looks like a really good reference for a drawing or something and you stare at them too long, that's weird. But yeah, it's just part of being an artist, is kind of seeing the artistry in the world around you, which I think is really cool. So if you're interested in drawing and you really want to draw realism art, my advice would be to go on Pinterest and just look up portraits and stuff like that. Just pictures that people have taken, maybe model photo shoots, and just really study their facial features and kind of break their face down into key shapes. The eyes are half circles, the lips are circles and boxes, yeah, stuff like that is really important to keep in mind. And here is the finished sketches for this first day of realism work I did. And as you can see here, really mapping out that that side of the face, that plane of the face, will really help you keep that perspective in line when you're drawing a face turned to the side like that. So that's important to keep in mind. This video starts a little farther back than the previous video, so you can see more of the very initial sketch I do before adding anything else in. And as you can see, I typically start a face with a circle and a line through the circle going down, and then two lines kind of connecting to that center point of the line. If you can see kind of what I'm talking about, it kind of looks like an oval or an egg shape maybe, but again, that kind of depends on the reference you're looking at. If the person has a rounder face, their face isn't as long as the one in the video right now, but that's okay. You just have to adapt to what you're seeing and make sure that you get those proportions right. When you're drawing this initial sketch, it's important to just get the prominent shapes in the reference, that kind of the shape of their clothes, not really the folds or the specific details, but just the shape of them. And it's also important to map out where you want to put the features. Here I'm mapping out where I want to put that eye, and then earlier on I kind of mapped out where I wanted to put the hairline that she would have, kind of basing it off of where the hairline is obviously in the original reference. I do think that in these 4 realism sketches that I did in this video, I kind of ended up drawing a lot of people with like similar facial features or similar like hair types, which it's honestly like not very good for improvement because obviously the real world is very diverse. So when you're drawing realism, you want to make sure you practice all kinds of people and all kinds of features and not just like the same kind of features every time. So yeah, I think that's one of the best things about drawing realism actually is like you just get to look at so many like different features and kind of figure out how to draw them. Like I personally love drawing curly hair, even though I didn't draw curly hair at all in this video. I love drawing curly hair, and I even drew it like in the last project I did on this channel. So yeah, if you don't get a like diverse group of references, when you do try to draw someone outside of that group of references, they're not going to look how they're supposed to because you're only used to drawing one kind of person. But there's many different types of people in the world. Like there's people with many different eye structures. Like there's hooded eyes, there's like drooped eyes, you know what I mean, like tired eyes. And yeah, obviously different hair types, different like lip shapes, different nose shapes. I think nose shapes especially are really fun to draw. I love hooked noses. They're really visually interesting. So yeah, like just trying to find that diverse range of people to draw is really important. So some of you may be thinking, Ella, you said you like drawing cartoons more than realism and you want to be an animator when you grow up. So why do you really like realism, or why are you practicing it so much? And that's because it's a well-known like phrase in the art community that you have to know the rules before you're able to break them. I think maybe that's a popular phrase like everywhere regardless, but it's really important especially in the art world because like you can only bend the features of like a face once you know how it really works. This is especially prominent, I think, not in faces but in drawing bodies, because often in cartoons you'll see like bodies that like aren't like proportionately accurate to a real person, or like their head is way larger than their body, right? But their body most of the time, unless it's like intentional that they're not, most of the time they still look like proportionate, like their proportions make sense. And that's because the artists that work on those cartoons, they have studied enough that they know what those proportions should look like, and they know how to adjust them to kind of fit the vibe they're going for. Wrapping up this video, I just want to say, like, anyone can draw, and if you're really interested in learning how to draw, especially realism, it's really simple. All you need to do is just look at references and just study. Like, it might not be pretty at first, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be because it's your first try. There's not really such a thing as bad art. It's only like you should just look at it on what can be improved. Anyways, here is those final drawings, and I'll see you in the next one.